So today we're going over two major issues that you must keep in mind if and when you're thinking about getting in or jumping into the short-term rental slash Airbnb craze where you can get a lot of cash flow. We've got 2 bedrooms making $4,000 or $5,000 a month, but you got to know what you're dealing with. Number one, we're going to talk about the local government. You have to deal with your city council, and I'm going to show you I'm dealing with my city council. I actually went down there and spoke, try to prevent short-term rentals from being banned in my area. And number two are your HOA rules and regs. And I just got a letter about an Airbnb that I'm operating, and you're not going to believe what this attorney sent me. I have to deal with the HOA in order to continue doing business in this particular property. All right, so stay tuned. Let's get right into this so you can apply and prevent yourself from going through the same headaches that I'm going through to deal with short-term rentals and Airbnbs. Let's do it. All right, class, it's Chris Haskins with therealestateroundup.com. My mission and ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. So today I'm going to tell you about how is it possible that short-term rentals can be banned. I am in the process of getting banned by my HOA and my local government. It's crazy. I'm getting a 1-2 punch, right? So you have to keep in mind the two major issues that you're going to have to deal with if and when you want to get into the short-term rental stuff. So let's talk about our local government. Oh man, I used to be so anti-politics up until recently. Now I understand. You're going to have to get to know these people, sending emails, going to city hall meetings, knowing who the mayor is, the city manager, all this stuff that us entrepreneurs have nothing to do with. Unfortunately, it's how the system works. Get over it, right? So let's first talk about this ordinance that just came down the pipe, ordinance number 7807-22. And you see here the council of the city of Newport News on June 28th. They just ruled this a few weeks ago. So I'm having to deal with this right now. So I went to the city council meeting and went to speak. We had about 40 people there trying to find out and try to convince the city hall members, the city council, not to pass these new rules and regs. Unfortunately, they gave us a reason that they had already done a feasibility study and that certain city council members were pro and some were against. It was just crazy. Oh man, having to deal with the city government. I do not like it. I don't like dealing with them, but the price of doing business. So on June 28th, they passed this new law or regulation that in order for you, let's just go over it. So here's the thing. You have to fill out, if you want to do a short-term rental in the city of Newport News right here in Virginia, you have to do a short-term rental application. But I want you to look down here. Obviously, this stuff here is minor. You got to pay $150, all that stuff. But look down at the third bullet. The main thing that this document here wants you to submit with it is a signed owner affidavit. Well, what's a signed owner affidavit? It's not just going to be this one application. Let's look on. Let's scroll on down. So they have this affidavit that you have to turn in along with the application. And the application is simple. Bedrooms and bath, address, what you're going to be doing, all that stuff. But check this out. Number one on the owner affidavit, y'all. Number one. Only the property owner shall operate the short-term rental, and it shall be their primary residence. So for the life of me, I'm trying to understand the majority of people that are operating Airbnbs and short-term rentals are not necessarily owner occupants. Can you imagine Ma and Pa? They're living in their property with their 2 kids. Oh man, you know what? I think I would like to rent out my property this weekend. What would they have to do to make it marketable for the open market to even house a short-term rental? Now, I do have a friend out in San Francisco that does this, but he's making several $100s a night. So he can clean it up and rent it out. But the crazy thing, I'm just trying to imagine, are people going to clean their properties up every time they leave in order to operate these short-term rentals? So generally speaking, a short-term rental manager or an operator is going to be somebody like you and I that are doing business, and we don't live there. And we might have 2, 3, 4, 5. Some people have 10, 20 of these things all around the country. Now, I know you might be thinking, Well, this doesn't affect me, not in my city. I felt the same way when I saw this happening to Atlanta, different cities around the country. Now it's right at my front door. And I highly suggest and recommend, if you're even remotely thinking about doing this, get involved. Even if you're not, get involved to help get the message out for people that want to do business, even if it's not you. There's power in numbers, okay? So this affidavit, you got to turn it in, pretty much excludes the majority of us that want to operate short-term rentals. So you have to know what's going on with your local government. What rules are they passing? Because you don't want to be the one that's in trouble. You're operating it and then they shut you down and you've got guests coming in the near future. That could be a nightmare for you. And let me tell you what happened at the end of the city council meeting. So the city manager and the attorney specifically stated, listen, these new rules, what is it, Article 7807-22, will not be applied unless, here's the kicker, unless we receive a complaint. Now, here is what my wife and I kind of discussed, the power structure that be. They want to put these rules in place so they can put their finger on the people that they pick and choose. It's real funny how they make these laws and rules ambiguous to where they can pick and choose who they want to deal with, who they want to single out and possibly enforce this stuff. They stood up and said this. We're not going to enforce this unless we get a complaint, right? So how does that leaves us in complete limbo? Do I want to operate under the radar? Do I want to go register? So many decisions we have to make being an entrepreneur, and it's tough. So the next thing we got to worry about is HOA rules and regulations. So I bought a property recently, set it all up, staged it, spent 10 grand on it, and I will admit to you, I made a mistake.
Oh my God!
I did not go to the HOA and even ask or verify if short-term rentals were even allowed inside the HOA. And this property has it's got a layer of HOAs, one for the actual neighborhood, one for that particular little section, subdivision, and then one for the entire neighborhood. It's crazy. I'm paying 2 HOAs in this part of town in Suffolk. Oh boy. And when I went to do the research, I saw it. I said, I wonder why there are no short-term rentals in my area. Now I see why. So here's a letter I got from our attorney. I'm paying HOA fees to pay the attorney to come after me. It's crazy. I mean, that's insane. Why am I doing this? So check this letter out I just got. A dear homeowner, look at the top here, blank trust. You know, we always own the properties in trust. And at the end of this video, I'm kind of going to go over something that I got from, what's her name? Noelle Randall, and she had a recommendation, and we'll see if that's going to work out. I'll tell you what she said. Round up. So listen, if I'm pouring into you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash the bell for notifications whenever we come on. And hit that like button too if you're enjoying what we're teaching you. Share with anybody else that you think needs to understand real estate investing and short-term rentals, okay? So, dear homeowner, Airbnb rentals, right? The complaint was filed with management on the date stating that the above referenced unit is being advertised and used as an Airbnb. Perhaps this is just an oversight on your part. However, your immediate attention and correcting this condition will be greatly appreciated. Oh my Lord. The rules and regs for Estates of Scottsdale state any lease or rental agreement must be on a written form of lease renting the property for a period of not less than 6 months. 6 months. So not less than 6 months. I was thinking about doing 30-day stays for travel nurses. Now 60-day stays, all that's out for me. As you know, Estates of Scottsdale is a planned community. When one purchases an Estates of Scottsdale, they agree to abide by the governing documents. All right. The association relies upon the covenants and restrictions and the Estates of Scottsdale Owners Association to preserve a unique atmosphere and appearance by preserving the value of each condominium, the quality of life, and the present/future sales of the community. Your cooperation is key in ensuring the quality of life and value of the condominiums, blah, blah, blah. Please assure that all short-term rentals are discontinued immediately to eliminate this condition. Okay, so round up, I'm giving you this stuff here because I don't want you to have to deal with this. I don't want you to have to go through this. So whenever you buy a property, I don't even want you buying property inside of an HOA just because it's just issues just like this. They want me to fix a fence, you got to worry about a siding colors, a cracked window, whatever it is, right? You always have to deal with the HOA and get their blessings if you're inside of that. So these two things here, Roundup, could hurt you and could eventually get you banned from doing business as a short-term rental operator. So what Noelle said was possibly do a lease with your business and turn that lease in. It'll be a 12-month lease. I'm not quite sure if that's going to work in every situation, but I will possibly give it a try. So that way you have if your company or your trust owns the property, you can do a lease with a third party, let them manage it, and then you have a 12-month lease. And then the people that come are just people that are dealing with the lease holder, right? The leasee. Who knows, Roundup, if that's going to work, right? So we'll try that. Look out, be careful. I don't want you to necessarily be safe. I want you to be daring. Get out there, make some mistakes like me. I spent $200,000 on this thing. Did it work out? It worked out so far. Are we going to be able to make this thing, figure it out over time? I have no idea, but I'm willing to take that try, okay? So be mindful when you're buying your next property. Roundup, I look forward to seeing you on the next video. And there's a lot of good training in the video description below. We've got our subject to/lease option course workshop coming up in the near future. I look forward to seeing you there. Talk to you soon, Roundup homies. Peace.